Guys, Matt from Zero's Play Heroes, and today we're going to talk about trying something new. Following up from the Shadows of War video that I did previously, and having just finished Shadows of Mordor again, but this time on PC, I thought I'd talk about games that we've finished, and we want to play something very similar, but we're willing to try a little bit of a genre change. Now, in regards to this, I am a big fan of that Shadows of Mordor game and am really excited about the new game coming forward. And there's some points of this game that you kind of enjoy from that are available in other games, but have a slightly different story or have the possibilities of being quite a good experience as well. So I'm going to go with some established franchises with my little comparisons and things I think you should really give a chance to if you haven't played them before. Now, if you really enjoyed the combat of, say, Shadows of Mordor, now that combat system is very similar to, say, Batman, the Arkham City, Asylum, and Arkham Knight series. Now, I personally would suggest Arkham City if you were going to give it a go. Arkham Asylum also, you can get those games for quite cheap, and all the games I'll suggest for this is at about under $20, and I'd suggest going somewhere like Kinguin.net if you're playing on PC. But you can find a lot of these games, or at least some of these games, on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox 360 for Batman, Arkham Asylum, etc., and PlayStation 3 for those ones as well. Actually, Wii U as well, actually. Now I remember it. Batman Arkham City, I believe, is on Wii U. So having those kinds of games, that combat, that melee system, the fighting in groups and chaining together abilities, that is, Batman Arkham City does that better than, or Arkham, any one of those does that better than any other franchise I've seen so far. Another one that's quite similar is Assassin's Creed, obviously. Now, if you're going to get into Assassin's Creed, I would suggest that just skipping Assassin's Creed 1, Assassin's Creed 2 series, the Ezio Forense, that whole series. So it's 2, Brotherhood, and I think I can't remember what the other one's called. That series is really good, but if you're willing to try a little bit of a deviation, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is just fantastic. It's the pirate one. It is so good. Grab that if you're willing to give it a go. Once again, available on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Very cheap, probably under $20 for. You could probably get a series of them for under $20. Now, if you enjoyed the tactical or the strategic elements of training the Uruk to be on your side and taking over and get this domination style of gameplay, I would suggest a game that not enough people play. It's probably one of the best games on PC, and it's available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, is XCOM. Now, XCOM 1 is available on PC, XCOM 2 is on PC, PS4, Xbox One. This game is fan-bloody-tastic. It is so good that I refuse to play the thing. It will be the biggest time sink of a game you've ever played. Now, I talk about how the tactical elements in there. This is a what's it? Based third person planned out combat simulator, I guess you kind of call it. And it's a moves based RTS. So it has a lot of elements to it. And you kind of think, okay, so how is that related to the Uruks in Shadows of Mordor? Now, I really enjoyed doing a lot of the riot parts of taking out some of the enemy Uruks and the enemy war chiefs. And it's great having little betrayers in there. Now, it doesn't have that side of things, but the best part is having faces you remember, people that you've branded and brought in under your fold, and remembering them and kind of going to them quite a few times. Now, XCOM has these wonderful soldiers you have that have names that have a little bit of a backstory, and you can build a backstory, but they kind of build their story through the fire, essentially fire of battle, and they start becoming legends of their own, and you start really, really liking them and enjoying having them there, and you will get quite protective of them. Remembering in this game, similar to with the Uruks in Shadows of Mordor, and obviously Shadows of War later, is permadeath. If they die, they die. That is them gone, gone forever. And they keep a memorial of them in XCOM. Whew. Yeah, there's nothing quite as depressing as watching one of your XCOM guys dying. Nah. If you enjoyed the whole, so that's if you're looking for that regards, and it's kind of got, it's not the same kind of taking over whole areas, but it has a really good combat-based system that gives you these characters you kind of enjoy, and you create stories with them, which is really, really fun parts of that gameplay, kind of a role-playing element that wasn't actually perceived in Shadows of Mordor, but it was quite enjoyable for that, and it looks like that's something they're selling in the Shadows of War version, so the sequel coming up. Now, if you really want to do more domination style, you want to take over and be the lord of all these types of things, which is similar to what Shadows of War is moving towards. Oh boy, there are some games on a really large RTS style, so real-time strategy style, or just a strategy-based game anyway, is Civilization. Now, Civ, I believe it's 5, Civ 5, Civ 4, one of those two, Civ 5, I think it is. You can buy the whole pack for about $20 from Kingwin.net. Again, not a big plug for Kingwin.net, it's just that the prices are fantastic there, especially if you're getting old PC games. I don't know if this one's available on Xbox or PlayStation. I do know it's on PC, so it's a great one to grab on PC. This is another time sink game. If you want to have a life aside from this game, I suggest not playing it, to be honest, but it is so good, and it will play different every time you play it, depending on how you play. If you enjoy the combat and then earning places, now this is a slight deviation of this, more towards like your Assassin's Creed and stuff. Now Assassin's Creed does have that element as well, where you unlock areas where you would take over that tower in Shadows of Mordor, and it unlock an area. That is implemented in Assassin's Creed and it's good, but it's best in Far Cry 3, 4, those types of ones. But Far Cry 3 is the best of that whole series, and it's still one of the best games with the best villain that I've seen in a game for a very, very long time. Some parts of it are a little bit absurd, there's some ridiculousness in it, but it has to have that. But Far Cry 3, if you haven't played it, you should get it. Now, I've pretty much suggested a lot of the games I really enjoy. This is a series I kind of want to keep doing. I'm going to play some of the more recent games and go, okay, cool. Elements of this are available in these kinds of games. So if you kind of don't get what you wanted out of that game, and there's a part of that game you want somewhere else, they are available. And I'll happily chuck some more of these stuff next time with a little bit more gameplay in it. Alright guys, this is Zero's Play Heroes. We'll be doing this quite a bit, where we look at other games that are available within that genre or that have elements of that game, so you don't really, you kind of you recover from your gamer fatigue a little bit, where you've played the same kind of game, or you're a little bit hungover from that. You want to keep playing that game, but that series is over. There's tons of games out there, and we'll be chucking some more indie titles in there as well, because there are some fantastic indie titles that are able to do these as well, and they really should be promoted. Thanks heaps, guys. Come on and join us later on. If you've got some comments, chuck some comments below. If you want to give us a like, that'd be appreciated. If you don't like the video, give us a dislike. I don't mind. Chuck comments regardless. Thanks heaps, guys, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.